हेलो एवरीवन। आज हम करेंगे MEG 14 ब्लॉक 8 यूनिट 3 सादत हसन मंतो ऑन इस्मत पार्ट टू में हम सादत हसन मंतो के बारे में बात करेंगे। ये जो हसन मंतो हैं, ये 1912 में इनका बर्थ बता रहे हैं और 1955 में इनकी डेथ बता रहे हैं, है ना। ही वॉज वन ऑफ उर्दूज मोस्ट पावरफुल राइटर्स ऑफ फिक्शन इन द 20th सेंचुरी. By the time by the time he began writing, Urdu fiction had divested itself of its obsession with romance and the world of fantasy through the pioneering work of Munshi Premchand, and later it was given a firm bedrock of realism through the works of Manto's great contemporaries राजिंदर सिंह बेदी, कृष्ण चंद्र एंड इस्मत चुगताई। तो पहले जो है ना फैंटेसी और रोमांस के बारे में लिखा जाता था मुंशी प्रेमचंद जी के बारे में उर्दू फिक्शन में, लेकिन उसके बाद जो है मंटो आ गए और उनके कंटेम्प्रेरीज के नाम बताए हैं, वो लोग रियलिज्म में लिखने लगे। However, even among them, he has a special place. The depth and density of some of his works is comparable only with the best in world fiction. इतना अच्छा काम वो करते थे। His works enable us to look critically at history and India's partition, nation, politics, sex, and some of our assumptions about them. Manto had an ordinary and rather undistinguished childhood, which did not hold any promise for future greatness. He was born in a conservative family of Samrala, Punjab, in 1912. At the Muslim High School in Amritsar, his wayward nature and love of mischief earned him the nickname Tommy. He liked to read books which had a pronounced subversive intent, particularly those considered unsuitable for boys of his age. He failed twice in Urdu in his matriculation exam. After passing in his third attempt, he was admitted to Hindu Sabha College, but his performance there was no better. Indifferent to his studies, he paid more attention to films and books outside the college syllabus. He skipped out with his friends to watch Hollywood movies and make imaginary plans to get to Moscow. It was at this time that he met Abdul Bari Alik, whom he regarded as his literary mentor. Bari, a journalist saw the spark of brilliance in him and introduced him to the classics of English, French, and Russian literature. Manto read from the works of Oscar Wilde, Chekhov, Victor Hugo, and others. Seeing his enthusiasm, Bari asked him to translate Victor Hugo's The Last Days of the Condemned, a play opposing capital punishment. He next co-translated Oscar Wilde's Vera, another work with a revolutionary intent. Manto entered Aligarh Muslim University in 1934. His stay there was short as he was incorrectly diagnosed with tuberculosis and was sent to a sanatorium in Kashmir. On his return from there, he worked briefly with the newspaper Paras in Lahore. But he soon got tired of the yellow journalism and shifted from there to Musawir, a film or magazine published from Mumbai. Manto worked as the editor of Musawir till 1940. Besides editing the magazine, he also began to work in the film industry. He got a job as a dialogue writer with the Imperial Film Company. The film world excited Manto's imagination and he loved being a part of it. But he soon realized that neither journalism not, nor working for films could give him the deep satisfaction of writing serious literature. He began to write short story at his period. Most of the stories pertaining to this phase of his life, written in the realistic tradition of uh, Chekhov figure, either in Manto ke Afsane or Dhua. Okay. Now, in 1940, he lost his job at Musawir and joined All India Radio Delhi. Manto's joining All India Radio marked a turning point in his career. At that time, many literary luminaries like Ahmad Shah Bukhari, N.M. Rashid, Miraji, and Upendra Nath Aksh, Ashk, Ashk, sorry, were associated with it and provided a very stimulating environment for a promising writer like Manto. Writing features and plays writing features and radio plays on a daily basis provided him an opportunity to hone his art. He wrote too fast and was often too confident and proud of his skills as a writer to even take a second look at the script. An event during this phase of his career that left a permanent scar in his mind was the death of his son, Arif, to whom he was deeply attached. Beside this, his edginess and his touchy temperament were often a source of complication between him and his colleagues and employers. Nevertheless, the 18 months that he spent in Delhi were greatly productive in terms of literary output. Two collections of short stories, more than 100 radio plays, filling 4 volumes in print, and his first collection of essays, मंटो के मजामिन मतलब essays by Manto appeared during this period. Manto's career with AIR came to an abrupt end. Manto's career with the AIR came to an abrupt end following an altercation with the Upendranath Aksh, his boss, who he considered to be an inferior writer, and he returned to Mumbai. Okay, now Manto's second season, उनकी जो जर्नी है in Mumbai, was marked by a deeper involvement with the film industry. He began to edit Musawir once again and to freelance as a screenplay writer. Meanwhile, several lawsuits were brought against him at the Lahore Session Court for the alleged obscenity in his stories Kali Salwar, Dhua, Boo. Later on, similar charges were brought against his stories Thanda Gosht, Khol Do. In the winter of 1945, he travelled from Bombay to Lahore in the company of Ismat Chugtai, who was being similarly tried for her story. लिहाफ मतलब उन पे भी केस कर दिया गया था उनकी स्टोरी के लिए जिसका नाम था लिहाफ. लिहाफ मीन्स क्विल्ट. Both of them were acquitted, though Manto had to pay a fine. Now, Manto's essentially secular and humanistic vision received a rude jolt by the partition of India in 1947. The Bombay he had known was no longer the same. The atmosphere was rapidly getting communalized. मीन्स हिंदू मुस्लिम ये सिख ईसाई ये सब चीज़ें आने लगी थी अब. द फिल्म इंडस्ट्री विच ऑलवेज टुक प्राइड इन इट्स secular credentials was also getting infected by this communal canker. A combination of circumstances made Manto leave Mumbai and migrate to Pakistan. However, violence witnessed by him during partition scared his psyche, and he wrote some of the most powerful stories on this event. The better known among them are Tauba Teksing, Khol Do, Titwal Ka Kutta, and Thanda Gosht. Manto died in Lahore in 1955, a disappointed and broken man, abandoned by his relatives and fellow writers, and thoroughly ignored by the Pakistani establishment. What is Manto's worldview, his philosophy of life? ये क्वेश्चन पूछा गया है. Though he has propounded no coherent philosophy of life through his fictional and discursive writing, a close study of them will reveal that he gives a higher status to certain values and concepts that include frankness, honesty, discrepancy between appearance and reality. For example, what people say or preach in public and what they practice in their private lives. The validity of sex in life, the ethics of human relations, and the ambiguous nature of reality. The humanity that shines through in his writings about downtrodden people living on the fringes of society is an integral part of this vision. His wit and humor and his pitiless irony are the weapons he uses against the idealism and hypocrisy that vitiates social interaction. About his view of man, Mumtaz Shirin, one of Urdu's finest critics, says, Manto is not interested in hallowed angels. Manto, the writer, doesn't have much to do with pure and innocent angels who can never possibly commit sin. Manto's human being is neither an angel nor a devil. He is an earthling, a creature of the earth who has the potentiality of original sin, mischief, murder. But God had ordered angels to pay obeisance to him. Selected work by Manto. Collection of short stories. आतिश पारे, मंटो के अफसाने, धुआं, अफसाने और ड्रामे, जुगाड़, लज़्ज़त संग, सियाह हाशिए, बादशाहत का खतीमा, खाली बोतलें, खाली डिब्बे, निमरुद की कढ़ाई, ठंडा गोश्त, येजिद, पर्दे के पीछे, सड़क के किनारे, ये बगैर अनबन के. ओके, नाउ उनके जो प्लेस हैं वो हैं आओ, मंटो के ड्रामे, जनाजे, तीन औरतें एंड करवट. उन्होंने लेटर एंड एसेज भी लिखे थे. मंटो के मज़ामिन एंड मंटो के खुतूत. ठीक है, उसके बाद ये अभी हमने फिनिश कर लिया इसको. इसके बाद नेक्स्ट वीडियो में मैं ऑन इस्मत चुगताई के बारे में पेन स्केच जो लिखा है उसको एनालिसिस उसका होगा. Thank you so much. Please subscribe my channel.